HSBC is one of the biggest banks in the world today. It was founded in 1865 by British trading firms who had made their fortune trafficking opium from Asia. And those networks never dissolved. These banks still profit today from narcotics, weapons, and global crises. In the 1800s, British demand for Chinese products like tea and porcelain had drained Britain's economy of silver. To reverse that trade flow, the East India Company and private companies started growing heroin in Bengal and smuggled it into China. By the mid-1930s, roughly 3 million Chinese people were physically dependent on opium. By the late 1890s, that figure has jumped to 15 million Chinese people. The biggest traffickers were David Sassoon Co., Jardine Matheson, and P&O, the cruise liner people. By the 1860s, 70% of Hong Kong's British facilitated trade with India was heroin. HSBC opened in 1865 to finance this trade. They funded the ships, they insured the cargo, and they handled the cash flows for the opium economy. This bank was designed to channel drug profits into global finance, and it made Hong Kong the British hub for trade in Asia. When the formal empires died, these networks just rebranded and kept going. They actually moved into oil and weapons and debt trading. HSBC became the biggest foreign bank in Asia, financing plantations, shipping, and post-war trade. Opium trafficking never stopped. Heroin, cocaine, and now synthetic drugs remain some of the most profitable trades tied to global banking. These networks turned war and crisis and addiction and human suffering into steady, reliable profit engines. This continues today. Between 2006 and 2012, the US prosecuted HSBC like 4 times for moving cartel money. They have paid at least $8,800 million in regulatory fines for AML breaches. In fact, cartels made the boxes the right size to fit through HSBC teller windows. HSBC failed to monitor $670 billion in wire transfers between cartels. They also failed to monitor $9.4 billion in cash exports from Mexico. In this time, 2006-2012, HSBC made over $90 billion in profit and paid $1.9 billion to the regulators for all of this laundering. No bank executives have ever been jailed. And since 2012, HSBC has faced repeated fines, including $42 million from Switzerland for laundering and £63.9 million in the UK for having weak controls. The exact same structures that profited from the opium wars still operate today. HSBC's story shows us how these networks persist. Laundering, profiteering, addiction economies. These are not rogue criminals. This is a systemic 300-year-old operation that profits from human suffering and considers these enormous regulatory fines just operational cost, part of doing business.